You got challenges that you're going to run across.
Let's talk a little bit about Vanderbilt. When we came to talk with you, we realized that your senior year at Vanderbilt, in the middle of the season, you had an injury on your foot, right?
Yep. I tore, it was a Lips-Frank injury in my left foot that I tore. It was like right there. I think it was my homecoming game. I think we played in South Carolina. Yeah, but I tore right in the middle of the season.
Because I remember talking to an agent that said, well, why ain't he playing? I said, well, they didn't force him to play, and he should have no sense that he knew not to play. That was that.
Yeah, I mean, I couldn't even walk on it. As a matter of fact,
you had a boot on.
Yeah, I had a boot on, and as a matter of fact, it was kind of misdiagnosed because they thought that it was going to heal naturally on its own. But then I got a second opinion, and they said that it was completely torn, so I had to get surgery at that point. So
when did you get that second opinion?
It was like maybe after a month or two, when it really wasn't healing at the rate that they were saying, because they were saying I should come back or something before the end of the season, but then it wasn't healing, and so I found out it was completely torn.
How did you feel about that? Because the school said that you got the second opinion on your own, right?
Yeah, I mean, I was pretty mad about it, but it wasn't much I can do about it. I just, I just found out that it was more serious than I thought it was, and then we just basically just went to a solution. I had surgery. I had to have a metal pin put in my foot after surgery, and yeah, so that's what caused me to miss the rest of the season.
We had a scout come in one of your games in Vanderbilt, and Mason, he knew him, and he wanted him to check you out, right? So scout came, and I remember we hung out afterwards, went to lunch and all that. And I don't know what team he was with, but man, he was like, man, that dude is a cover guy. He has he has the techniques, he has the style, he has everything that you need for a corner. And Mason was like, man, come on, stop all of it. I said, no, I'm telling you. He said, I done seen them all. I done seen them all. He said, man, that dude got it. He has it. He said, Vinson has it. And
a lot of players moved on. Vinson was injured. Things went awry for the Vanderbilt defense, but you see the coverage ability. 5'10" in a corner, 177. Not the big, strong, physical defensive back that Chavis is, but he's more of a true cover man, and he has the ball reaction skills you look for. As I said before, he would have been probably a late first rounder if it wasn't for the injury. He's been clocked at 4.3, so at this stage of the game, if you know he's going to be ready for training camp, makes good value and good sense at that point.
But you went to the combine with the boot on.
With the combine and the boot on, yeah. As a matter of fact, I pushed the surgery up because I was on crutches before then, and so we thought it was better that I pushed the surgery up a couple of weeks, remove the pin so I can walk on it in a walking boot, so that I can, it can look a little better from the scouts and the coaches, whatever, that the surgery was healing. Feeling good, whatever. So I think that helped my status, my draft status a lot. The fact that I was able to walk around versus on crutches.
Now, going to the combine for you was almost like, look, y'all need to talk to me. Let me get in your. I don't want you to look at me as a injured player. You wanted to let them know that you're ready to go as soon as this thing heals, right?
Exactly.
So you want to go around and talk to the teams.
Exactly. That's all I did was did interviews. Took that test. I forgot what they call it, the Wonderlic test or something like that. Actually, the only activity I did was the bench press.
Okay.
The 225 bench press. That was the only thing I did.
How many times you been 225?
I got it 19 times.
19?
19 times. Man, I was strong back then, man.
Huh?
I was strong back then.
Yeah, that was killer. That 19?
19 times. And I weighed, I think at the time I was there, I think I weighed like 178.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that had to be impressive to them to see you bench 19, 225. Wow.
Yeah.
I think the most I've done was 8. 7.5. 19. Man, that's killer, I tell you.
Yeah, so, I stayed in the gym, man. It's like, I mean, I couldn't run, couldn't walk, so all I could do was lift.
I got you. Yeah.
So
You're right. That's a good thing. So tell me the kind of questions that they ask at the combine.
They ask questions in terms of like, you know, certain coverages and what they mean and things like that. They try to test you on like, you know, how do you dissect coverages and how you dissect, you know, certain receiver alignments or whatever. See if you kind of like read, because like, you know, there's certain things that, you know, depending on where a receiver lines up, you know, kind of indicates on what possible routes he can run. You know, so things like that will ask you about to see if you on your game, top of your game, you know, that kind of stuff. I mean, because all that stuff matters. You know, because that's what really helps, you know, us get an edge. Because as you know, it's like we always behind the 8 ball because we always reacting. So we don't know what they're doing. So we got to find every type of advantage we can.
So being there mentally, how were you really feeling with that boot on? And were you like, oh, you know, I mean, were you like, or I can't wait to get out this boot so I can really, did you feel like that you were going to heal to a point where you can really go and play? And when it happened, you came out of that boot, how did you feel?
It was kind of like very similar to my ACL tear in my right knee. It was like one of those things where playing corner is like you're constantly planning, and it's like it's the fear of, okay, if I plant wrong, it's going to tear again or whatever. So a lot of it is like goes back to, you know, mentally getting through that and just trusting that, you know, it's going to be okay. You know, so it's like fighting the mental toughness and getting through that of the injury,
right? And
then trying to actually get through the mental aspect of playing at a high level, playing against guys or whatever that are as good as you, whatever on the other side. So it's like a double whammy when a guy is coming from an injury like that.
So you come from the injury. I remember being at your house on draft day, and I really believe if without being injured, you probably would have been somewhere in that first round. I don't remember exactly how many corners went in the first round, but I do remember that in the second round, Dre Bly went right in front of you to the Rams, I think, and then you came right behind him. Do you remember how many corners went in the first round?
I think it was like 5 in the first round.
Wow.
Either 4, at least 4.
Okay.
And I think actually it was 4 because I was the number 7th corner taken, and then it was 2 corners taken in the second round. It was 1 taken in the top of the first round, and then it was Dre Bly, and then it was me after him.
Make sure that you like and subscribe and hit the all button and all that kind of stuff, because we're going to have a lot of good interviews on this podcast.